Hi everyone, welcome to the 28th episode of Happy Hour with CarnaticON. This is Archana, and today I have here with me Akshay Anantapadmanabhan. Hi Akshay.
Hi, Archana. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. How are you?
Good. Doing well.
Nice. Okay, so Akshay, we do happy hours every week where we invite an artist and we talk about their journeys. And the goal is to inspire more people to take an interest in this art form. I'm sure a lot of people watching this may already know you, but let's assume this is a way for us to get to know you a little more. Okay, so let's start with an introduction about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are your gurus? What do you do?
Yeah, awesome. I am Akshay Anantapadmanabhan, and I'm a Carnatic Mridangam artist, Carnatic percussionist. I play the Mridangam, I perform Konakol, and also play the Kanjira, uh, all of these professionally. In a Carnatic setting, I play majorly Mridangam, but in the independent music space, I also include all of these different percussive forms. And I'm a disciple of the late Guru Shri T.H. Subash Chandran. And kind of, in some sense, I would like to say that going forward, I would be one of his torchbearers of his tradition. And he's a pioneer of Panakol in some sense. And he's really taken the Ghatam, the art, and Mridangam and taught so many students across the world. So, really blessed to have been associated with him in his lifetime and also have gotten so much from him, absorbed so much from him that I hope I'll be able to do justice to the way he has presented the art and take it forward. So that's a little bit about my background. One more thing, I guess, I was born in Mumbai and I moved to the US when I was about 5 or 6, 9. And that's kind of the irony of my training and my interest in Mridangam and Carnatic music really happened when I moved to the US. I started learning in Mumbai under T.S. Nandakumar sir. And once I moved to the US, I got associated with Subash Mama, as we call him. Uh, and he kind of brought my interest for Carnatic music, kind of fostered it in a very interesting way. I learned from his disciple, Dr. Venkat Natarajan, in New Jersey when I was growing up there. And when I was, doing my elementary school, middle school, high school, and everything. And then that's how I got associated to Subash Mama. And it was like a 2 decade kind of amazing experience of learning from him that happened kind of in a reverse brain drain situation in the US and in India. So I shifted from the US about 10 years ago to India to pursue music full time. And since then, here I am in Chennai. So
That's a lovely introduction, Akshay. Thank you so much. Well, I heard New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey too. So, where in Jersey were you from?
I was in Plainsboro. Well, obviously the first place we moved to was Edison, and
No
then
way! I'm from
eventually
Plains
Plainsboro.
too.
Oh, oh,
Yes,
really? Okay, awesome.
I was going to tell you, it's the suburbs of Princeton. It's a small town called Plainsboro. But I'm glad you're from Plainsboro. Then you kind of know where I'm
Yeah,
coming from.
Plainsboro is a happening place.
Totally happening. I know, right? The potatoes and everything is so awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that is
Awesome.
like a India, right? So is that where
Yeah,
your journey into Carnatic music began? So
yeah,
one thing I'm curious about is access, right? How did you get access to all these gurus?
yeah. So I guess it's finding the right guru definitely is a huge part of, I think, any art form to some extent, but even more so in the Carnatic tradition. And I think I got lucky in the sense that, definitely my parents found Dr. Venkat Natarajan, who was a disciple of uh, Subhash Mama, Subhash Chandran sir. And he kind of used to run a school in New Jersey that uh, we got associated with. My parents kind of found that. And after I started learning from him, uh, Subhash Mama used to come visit on his tours, and he would kind of go through all the students. And I was recommended by Venkat Venkat Uncle, as I called him, to my guru Subash Chandran sir, and from there he kind of took me under his wing and really, helped me a lot, taught me a lot, and eventually, he would start taking classes at my parents' place. This was a huge blessing for me because I kind of not only got access to him while in class time, but I also got access to him all the time. So he would be at my parents' place for a couple of months, and this was like I don't think even today we'll get that kind of access to any gurus anymore. But because he was teaching from there, I'd kind of learn not only classes that were meant for me, but I'd also learn from classes that were happening with other students. So in the process, I guess I not only got his uh, you know his day-to-day lifestyle. So in a sense that it's like a reverse gurukulam there, because I was able to watch him when he was doing his morning prayer. I was able to watch him when he was going for his walks. We'd take walks together, and in the process I'd learn about his journey and his art form and the struggles that he had as an artist. And it wasn't always about learning lessons and learning mridangam, but it's also about learning the Carnatic art and learning the experiences that go with it and how to mingle with artists, how to experiences that he had on tours, and those kind of those kind of conversations you wouldn't really have time for or necessarily get access to even today in a day-to-day basis. I feel like I had more of those experiences with him when I was in the US than when I even moved to Chennai, because the artists there who are on tour and stuff are just kind of more free. It's from concert to concert, and then in between during the weeks they kind of have some freedom to be themselves. So I got to access him as a day-to-day human being, and a day-to-day personality, and his humility and his amazingness throughout those few months that he would stay with us. And then there was also the process of learning how he used to teach. So I was not only able to absorb the way he performed, but also observe and absorb the way he taught students, because that's a special art on its own. So the way he would inspire students, or have fun while teaching, and make learning a lot of fun. And to get that sort of learning from a legendary, very senior artist is also very, very rare, because it's a serious art form. Carnatic music has always gotten this aura of seriousness around it, and in a sense I would say he made it a lot of fun, and took the serious out of it, but also taught you very serious things. So it's a very subtle way of teaching. And while he also formalized the way of mridangam playing in the way he taught, from because he learned from his father, who kind of formalized the 7 syllables for mridangam. So he would teach in that way, and then he expanded on that and created chapters and lessons and a format for really teaching mridangam, just like there's a format for teaching the basics of vocal music. So all those things, that it was really a blessing for me to kind of observe and absorb from him. So yeah, that's kind of the journey I had with my guru and the access I had. And because of that association, obviously, when I moved, he was one of the prime supporters of me actually moving to India and pursuing this art form here. And he even told me, he was like, Akshay, you need to come here and show, because Carnatic music, at least when I was moving here, to be a Carnatic musician, you had to kind of be in Chennai. And he was like, you need to show everybody our style of mridangam, and you need to take it forward. And he kind of really encouraged me to do that, and come here to Chennai and make a name for myself and his tradition here. So
That's awesome. Akshay, your story really reminds me of this character in the movie Sarvam Talamayam.
yeah, okay,
He
right,
gets
right,
into
right, yeah,
Harvard, and like he's given a choice. He either gets to go to Harvard or he has to move to Chennai to pursue this
yeah.
art form. Is your story very similar in that sense? Did you have to make a choice between like two, say, contrasting career choices, or were you able to
Yeah.
juggle? of them, or what was that? What did that look
No,
like?
no, it was definitely a choice. Actually, it's even more scarily similar in that sense because I should have IP'd that my life story there in that sense because I was supposed to I got into PhD programs in the US when I was making this move. So it was kind of a choice between starting my PhD in music technology and which is a tangential space, but it's not music performance. So I was supposed to either go to Santa Barbara and live on a beach and do my PhD there, or Georgia Tech and a few pretty good prestigious institutions. Not Harvard, but they don't have a music tech program. But still, it was still a choice, and definitely one that my parents probably were a little concerned of that I decided to move to India. So of course it wasn't like a decision where I said one day I'm going to move to India. It was more like an organic thing. So the move was supposed to be for a year when it started out, and I was supposed to come back and do my PhD after deferring all those institutions. But it kind of snowballed. 1 year became two, and I was probably naive in my thinking that okay, 1 year is enough in Chennai, and then I can go back to the US. And but I realized that very quickly that 1 year wasn't enough, 2 years wasn't enough, three wasn't enough, and this is really a lifetime's journey. So
Yeah, that's beautiful. This is kind of like the opposite story of ours. Most of us, we go to the US, we're like, okay, let's experience it for a year or so, and then we end up overstaying our welcome. Like for me, it's been 8 years, and I can't wait to come back to India at some point. But it's always a decision that you want to keep postponing. You're like, okay, maybe next year. Maybe next year. I think, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, but I think it takes a lot of resolve to come to a decision and stick with that decision, and then like no looking back, right? You don't ever want to regret making such decisions in life, right? So yeah, that's good. So in terms of your opportunities, would you say that moving to India has been life changing for your musical career?
oh yeah, I mean certainly, building a name for myself and performing with some of the leading and legendary artists I could never even imagine that I would be associated with. Lots of them who I would have looked up to when I was growing up and listening to in like CDs and cassettes here at the at the risk of dating myself here, but
I was just going
yeah,
to say,
and
yeah, that tells me exactly when you were born.
yeah, I mean cassettes were kind of out, but yeah, CDs and yeah, after that it was like all online. Now
Yeah.
it's all online, obviously. But yeah, it was a different type of growing up, because when you're listening to CDs and cassettes to some extent, you kind of don't really imagine that you'll be affiliated with certain artists. I mean, those artists that you're listening to. I think the YouTube generation and the video kind of space somehow has also cut down that barrier in a sense, because you can't visualize yourself being associated with certain types, those legendary artists. But yeah, I mean, I think coming to Chennai has really given me an opportunity in that sense, to be able to perform. Of course, you have to be called and introduced to those artists and become a part of the scene here. That's a whole process, and there is a culture shock of coming to Chennai. There is the whole uh, uh, I don't know, obstacle of being an artist who is coming from an outside world into a clique, a niche space. And, as opposed to young artists who were growing up in Chennai all their lives, they were kind of already in the scene and already noted and already known. Okay, this boy, girl, and individual would be the next, somebody to look out for. So I don't think I fit that bill, and I kind of moved into a space and was trying to figure out, a name for myself in this space. Again, the goal initially wasn't that. The goal was just to learn music and learn and be a part of the space, access as many concerts as I could. And I think when I got identified as a talent, then it kind of, the space also helped in pushing. But of course, there is a lot of resistance when you're an NRI musician to some extent, because you get branded sometimes as somebody who will go back to the US. So, it took a while to convince everyone that I was here to stay. And I probably convinced myself also. And I think when I convinced myself, and I actually, lots of things started to change for me. So when people knew that I'm here, I'm committed, and I'm really interested in being a part of this artistic space. So it's not just talent; it's also about that commitment. Then things started to really change for me, and I got opportunities to perform with, amazing artists. So
Yeah. I mean, how important is it to be based in Chennai? Now that everything is remote, all your collaborations are remote, pretty much any YouTube video you can make from anywhere in the world. Why is it so
yep.
important to be based in Chennai?
Well, I don't know if that's. I mean, yeah, I think it's still the case today for Carnatic music. It's still the case. Like I always use the example that New York is to jazz as Carnatic, as Chennai is to Carnatic, because that's where you make a name for yourself through here. I mean, this is where, even if I'm touring or performing with artists, it's like if I was just performing on a concert, where I was called for in the US, it's totally different from me coming from India and traveling with artists and then performing in the US or in other countries. It somehow that value is looked at differently, even from the US side, or even from Australia, or even from the UK. I think the same thing exists. So those circuits kind of value the fact that you're based in Chennai much more strongly, because I don't know, maybe they associate a Chennai-based artist as somebody who's very rooted in the tradition and art form. And I think to some extent, it's not totally false either. Of course, there's a lot more access now online, like you said, and everything is virtual, and there's virtual performance happening. But I think being in Chennai, you get access to live concerts a lot. Of course, not during the pandemic, but prior to that, it was like, I would be able to attend a lot of concerts, listen to a lot of. So listening to a live concert, I feel like always is way more engaging than listening to a concert on YouTube, like, or on Facebook. To be very frank, like I don't think Facebook even is meant for listening to a Carnatic kacheri, because there, the 3 second views are counted, and what can you view in 3 seconds? So like, I'm just putting it in perspective, where a Carnatic kacheri maybe today on average like an hour and a half to 2 hours minimum. So when you engage a live concert, you're not just listening to the music. You're listening to the music. You're watching the artist. You're watching how they interact. You're watching a lot more minute things that are happening, and you don't have the luxury of rewinding. So you're kind of way more keyed into a concert. So I think that part happens so frequently here, or used to happen frequently prior to the pandemic. I'm sure it'll get back once the pandemic's over. That kind of access makes it a learning that's kind of, you won't get elsewhere. Of course, there are artists touring in the US, etc., etc. But I don't think there are that many young artists who are always attending concerts in the US either, or in the other parts of the world either. So you know that's maybe slowly changing, hopefully changing. We're making the art a little more younger. But uh, yeah, I think the value of being a Chennai-based artist is probably that. Like the experience that you get while learning is a lot more um, engaging and with the art. And also, same thing. Like you get access to your guru, and you can go learn from him or her so often, and you get access to other artists. And I have so many mentors here who are other artists, and they've really mentored me in very, whether I'm performing with them, like other percussion artists like KV Gopalakrishnan, or Guru Prasad and all of these. I've traveled with them so much, and they're not mridangam artists, but they're kanjira or ghatam artists who have also mentored me in other ways. So you get this kind of access that you won't get when you're living in another country or city, even in fact, outside of maybe Chennai. And I'd say Bangalore is also very involved in Carnatic music, and of course, Andhra scene is also there. The Hyderabad and other areas are very involved in Carnatic music.
Got it. Yeah, so I tell all my non-Indian friends, so Chennai to Carnatic music is like Mumbai for Bollywood. If you want to make a career there, you have to stay close to the network, and that's the only way you're going to, make any progress. And that's probably why everybody from Sid Sriram to, so many other successful musicians have moved to India and navigated their careers so successfully, right? So that is super important. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Akshay. So what are some of the cool new projects you're working on? I know you're like a popular face on on YouTube and online in general. And my daughter, by the way, recognizes you from the Konakol Playhouse song, and she says,
Oh, awesome.
I'll probably bring her on, to like say a few words, but
Sure.
but yeah, so it's amazing, the work you do in taking this art form to the younger generations. I think it's commendable. So hats off. And what are some of the cool new projects you're working on?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm involved with well, Konakol Playhouse, which was part of the Thayir Sadam project's piece. So yeah, I'm involved with the Thayir Sadam project, and
Love the
I'm
name, by the
involved
way.
with
It is
what's
so
that?
apt. I love the name, by
Yeah,
the way. It's so apt.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it just
yeah, yeah. I think it really works for the four of us, definitely.
Is it okay
And
with food, by the way?
no, but
No?
yeah, I mean, I definitely like it to end a meal, especially lunch.
Right? You
So
go to Olive Garden, you have your pasta, you come back home, you have thai sadam.
no, I don't like mixing cuisines, but yeah, when I have a South Indian lunch, definitely have to end it with with thai sadam. So yes, it is a important part of the project, and I think it kind of represents that. It's like the comfort food of South Indian music, and hopefully we can consider it like a comfort food of independent music, comfort music of independent music space. That's a stretch, but yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm involved with that uh, those four artists, and we also do a lot of collaborations with other amazing musicians. And also, I'm involved with the Carnatic 2.0 group, which is also a very fun and interesting group. So both of these bands are, those are interesting for me because you kind of focused on working with this group and creating content with this group. And yes, we are coming out with the Thai Southern project. We're going to be coming out with an interesting piece soon, so it's in the works right now. It's a piece that is a little more on the virtuoso side of things because it's a interesting time cycle. So that's the most I'm going to reveal for now, from that point of view. Yeah, Konakol Playhouse was an interesting project for me to work on because that was working with young kids and kids of age groups from 5 to kids who are in 12th standard in India. And this was majorly through like workshops that happened across Bangalore. And I kind of collaborated with SAPA there also, which is Subramaniam Arts Academy for Performing Arts. And they kind of roped me in for doing workshops across Bangalore, in schools across Bangalore. And then, the idea of why not make this a piece in the Thai Sadam project itself, and getting those students also featured in the music video. So that was a lot of fun because we had to think about. It was very interesting for me because you had to think about the piece prior to the workshops and had to think about how to get it all together into one music video. And yeah, I had a lot of fun working with it. The kids had a lot of fun being a part of it, and they didn't really think about it as a music video. It was just a workshop that was happening, and that kind of got framed into a music video that kind of featured Konokol in a very interesting way too, and kind of showcased the power of that art form, and what it can do, even in terms of just introducing the art to the younger generation and the next set of Rasikas who will hopefully flood auditoriums for Carnatic music.
Sorry. So how did you guys come up with the idea?
Um, which idea? The Thayir Sadam project?
Yeah. How did you like get
Uh,
to, like, did you already know Mahesh before you guys formed the
yeah,
band, or how did you guys like? Why do you think like this was, this is what we want to do, and this is a good space to be in? How did
yeah.
you guys come up with
So Mahesh, I knew a little bit prior to, because we both have been involved with Indian Raga and have done projects separately with Indian Raga. So before that, I don't think we had done projects together, or maybe we had done one piece or something together. So we knew of each other, and we knew of each other's capacities, and what our spaces, and um, but yeah, so Mahesh I knew through Indian Raga, and we there was a connection there. Ambi and Bindu are siblings, but I knew of them through El Subramaniam sir, of course, and that was actually through my guru. My guru used to tour with El Subramaniam sir a lot, and they were kind of amazing friends growing up. So, in a sense, that it all worked out this way was interesting. Of course, the introduction didn't happen that way. For me, Ambi and I performed in a festival in Bangalore at the same time. Subramania, his other band, was performing at a festival, and I was performing with TM Krishna now at the same festival in Bangalore. And I think Mahesh had told Ambi, check out Akshay performing for this kacheri because it's happening right before yours. So uh, I was performing with TM Krishnana and the Joga Pass. It was like a interesting, very interesting collaboration there as well. So he came to the concert and he was listening and everything. And then after the concert, we spoke and we actually met for the first time in person there. So that's how that connection happened. And after that, we performed a show together that was not Thai Southern Project, just like as part of Subramania, his other band, in Mysore, including Mahesh. So that was kind of our first interaction together as a group. And then we started, we made a piece together. We started um, connecting a lot more. And I was traveling a lot more to Bangalore then. So we kind of met up and we were working on pieces then. So because of that first performance that happened together, it kind of kicked off a reason for us to create some content together, make some content together, and then organically it picked up. And then we realized that we were four very like-minded individuals, both in terms of performing music, being hopefully pushing the boundaries of Carnatic music, and also bringing it to a wider audience, introducing it to other forms, and also bringing in our own personalities into the band and the music. And so we had a lot of fun, off stage as much as we did on stage. And I think that's an important aspect of a band, and any sort of even in the classical Carnatic arena. I think it's an important part of artists and our connections both on and off stage. So yeah, I think that's how the Thai Southern project was formed. And of course, since then we had very interesting collaborations. We've collaborated with Ranjini and Gayatri Akka, and we've collaborated with Arna Sairamma, and who else? Yeah, I mean, and we've done a lot of independent work ourselves. So I think that the band has really grown in that sense, and hopefully, we'll have some interesting content. We're also working on, we may be working on an ad film type of thing coming up soon. So, we're exploring very different spaces. It's not all about performance, but it can also be about uh, the Thai Southern brand. So,
Yeah, the Thai Southern brand. I know, like,
which we do have merch for, by the way. We
I
have
know, I
T-shirts.
know. I think my yeah, I think we have some of your merch. My sister had bought something for my son, so yes, we have some of your merch. Very cool.
Awesome.
And actually, I am itching to bring my daughter on because if she recognizes you from like I said, from the Konakol Playhouse video, and she might even say a
Sure.
few for you. Okay, so I mean, she's been I mean, I don't know if you know, but I was involved with Indian Raga for a bit, and she used
Awesome.
to get on sets with me, at the YouTube studios when we used to, go out and produce videos and everything. She was like always around, and she's practiced, she's rehearsed and everything. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to get her, okay, for a few seconds.
Sure. How are you? What's your name?
Veda.
Sorry?
Veda.
Veda, nice name.
Okay. When I said you know him, you do know him. Remember the Konakol Playhouse video? Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Have you worked with Bindu's daughter? She's
Yeah,
around
yeah, yeah.
the right? I
Oh,
think like
yeah, I guess, yeah, true. Yeah,
yeah.
they're awesome. I mean, I did a workshop. I was doing the Bangalore workshops, and in fact, her daughter was in one of the schools, and
Okay.
she did not even want to say hi to me. Like, like, like she didn't want to associate herself directly with me, like saying that she knew the artist and stuff, because it's like a I don't know what like. But after that, she was like, I loved it. I loved the whole performance and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, same
So,
with her. We watched it like 100 times. We even have TikTok videos of the two of us doing this Konakol thing. Okay, so
oh, awesome.
I'm going to send this to you in private. I'm not putting it out anywhere in the public domain, but I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
Sure.
Okay,
That'll be awesome.
Vida, do you know who that is? What did we talk about? We
Hi.
said who, right? You know who he is. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time, Vida. Last time, okay? Look at the camera. There it is. Yeah, there you go. Hi, Vida. Do you know who that is?
Hi.
Remember Konakol Playhouse? Yeah? Do you want to do a few verses for him? Okay, go on.
Tatum, 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 tatum. Tatum 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 takadimi takadimi takadimi
Wow.
tak 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 tum takadimi 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 tak tak tum takita 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 tak tak tum takita 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 tak tak tum.
Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. Wow, she's like totally got it memorized.
Have to buy her
That's
ice cream
amazing.
for this. That would be you do this well without mistakes, and I get you ice cream. That's the deal.
Awesome, awesome. That's amazing. So glad
Awesome.
that she's like remembering it and performing it. I think that's one of the goals of this piece, is I guess, this piece.
Yeah. Do you have people like this walk up to you often, and maybe at like a coffee shop or something, and say, "Hey, this is Akshay. I know you."
Yeah, I mean, not not generally in coffee shops, but yeah, once in a while, definitely, And in fact, she reminds me of one of my students who started with me recently, who's a 6-year-old kid, and I was kind of wary about teaching him, mridangam, especially like on Skype or online, and start directly from scratch. But he did the same thing. He said the whole stanza of Konakol Playhouse, and he was like, "I really want to learn from you." And like, so I was like, it's hard to say no to an interest, like a totally interested child. So, uh, yeah, I think it's really nice. I mean, it's a good sign for that. This type of content does get kids interested and will get them on the long journey, the long haul for Carnatic
I was
percussion
just
and arts.
it's so important for us to connect with the younger generations to take this interest forward, right? If you're going to be super intimidating about this art form, then kids are going to it's a little bit there's like a relevance factor there, right? If they're able to relate to it, then they would instantly just pick it up, and they do associate their music teachers with their say school teachers, or their drawing class teachers and all of that. So for them, it's nothing is higher. There's no hierarchy there, right? In terms of art, it's all the same.
Yeah, yeah, which
So
is which is actually very beautiful. So it's true.
yeah, so it is true. Yeah. So this is awesome, and I did take a look at some of your educational, work. Also, I've seen some of your textbooks and everything. It's very cool. I think it just instantly connects with the kids. So yeah, good job on that.
Thank you.
Awesome, Akshay. So we've been speaking for a while now. We'd love for you to play something for our audience today.
All right. So I have I honestly have not prepared for this at all because I didn't even expect that I was gonna play something. So
You even
let
have
me.
practiced so much that you're just gonna, nail it right off the bat.
Yeah, let's hope. So the thing with I think about the mridangam that's slightly different from other percussion instruments in a sense is it takes a lot of time. I mean, it's there in most instruments. It takes a lot of time to get the tone and sound right. So like if I'm sitting in an AC room for instance right now, then and we have talked for so long that the tone gets it's not the ideal tone for performing. But just let me actually sit down and play. I think that's better. And you'll also meet my pup Snuggles, who loves mridangam. So
I
he will
how
he will he
so
will
cute.
not like if he hears the mridangam, he will run into the room. That's his.
I know. I had to ask my doggy to be like, away because like at least like 1 feet away because otherwise she's gonna come and start typing stuff on my laptop.
All right,
So
let me just get this. Let's see if this visible.
yeah.
All right, Snuggles, you have to be good for now.
Hi Snuggles. Does she play
You can see his head, right?
well? I can. Fab, Akshay. I must say, I was a little distracted initially, okay, when Snuggles was around. I must admit. But
Yeah, he's an
like
awesome.
he's amazing. But I mean, Zoom
You
does
can
not
get
do
through.
justice. I completely agree with you. With vocalists or say the violinists, we don't feel it as much because the instrument itself is loud enough. And I think with mridangam, we definitely miss being in in the audience while you guys perform. For
I
sure, we
hope
miss.
I, I hope the audio didn't get cut or anything, right?
Get
This mic.
cut, but It was a
Oh
bit
yeah, yeah, I have it.
was a bit muffled.
It was, huh? Okay. I had it
Yeah,
on for the music mode anyway, so I think it should have recorded
right.
properly.
But I mean, honestly, this is the best. Zoom is definitely not the place for like concerts and all that. But yeah, but who knows? I mean, the pressure is on, for a startup to come up with a product that will solve all these problems. We are not that. We are focusing on something very different. But I'm sure, someone would be passionate enough to kind of bring this whole live performance experience, out to everybody, right? So, yeah. Has the pandemic changed you as an artist, Akshay?
Certainly, I think, I mean, changed me as an artist in the sense that we all definitely had to think of new ways to, additional ways to survive because, if, as a live performing artist, that was gone 100%. So, and anything that, even now, things that are coming, like shows and stuff, still many of them are getting canceled. So it's not like, we're anywhere near 100% recovery. So yes, it's definitely changed me in terms of, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to take in a lot more students during this time frame. So in that sense, it's been good. I've focused a lot more in, getting my teaching and that realm kind of more sorted because I used to always be kind of running around and it'd be hard to get some mind space to really think about that. So from a teaching point of view, yes, it's changed me a lot. In the process of teaching, you also learn a lot. So I also got to practice a lot more as an artist. I also got to rest a lot more as an artist, and in that sense, it also taught me a lot about the value of that because you need some mind space as an artist. I mean, not 1 year, but in between
Another
shows
more,
and
right? I mean, there's another lockdown coming up, so
yeah,
we don't know. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we don't know where things are going to go with that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, but you do need that it taught me the value of that mind space and what more that can do in terms of artist work and coming up with new things and new content. So like I'm working on actually, so there's another collaboration that I do along with my wife, who's a Bharatanatyam dancer, Sudharma Vaidyanathan. So we were supposed to go on tour last year, right before the pandemic in Europe, and that's when everything got canceled. But it was interesting because in that I kind of the production itself is about showcasing Indian percussion, Indian rhythm in ways that also connect with the culture of uh, India and maybe South India specifically, and our cultural roots in some sense, and do it in modern ways. So, like I'm working on an interesting piece right now. Hopefully, I'll be releasing that soon, and that one is around the idea of a kolam, of, of a rangoli or kolam, and how that corresponds to the this one in an aspect of symmetry, how that corresponds to music, and also in terms of spatial time, how that works with percussion and rhythm. So hopefully that'll be out in the near future and everyone can also experience that. But so yeah, I mean it gives you time to kind of explore and really think about what you're doing musically. So
Snuggles is back. Hey, Snuggles,
this
we
is
missed
back.
you. Yeah, I don't even know how you guys come up with all these crazy ideas. They're so out of the box, and I think that's so awesome. I think if there's one thing Carnatic music needs, it's innovation, because it's been stagnant. I mean, there's a lot of creativity. Don't get me wrong. Creativity and innovation are two entirely different things. Creativity has always been there, but innovation, I think, was totally missing. And now I feel like a lot of people are taking an interest in experimenting with this art form to see how else we can make it more global. So this is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, I mean, I want to add there that Carnatic music is a traditional art. So there, yes, I mean there is creativity, there is innovation within the bounds of Carnatic music. And the other things that we do, like, the project that I'm talking about, or thayir sadam project, or 2.0, I mean, it's not Carnatic music in its entirety, of course. It's more like influence of Carnatic music plus other genres. So, I mean, the whole purpose of those kind of spaces, yes, is to introduce people to the art form. But then, of course, there's always still the choice of experiencing the art form in its entirety, which is there in the core Carnatic form. So only if somebody listens to a kacheri and those kind of spaces, that's the real, uh, you know, meat of Carnatic music, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so I think that's also important to keep in mind with all
Yeah, I
of
mean,
this. So
it is breadth versus depth, right?
yeah,
This is more about the breadth. It is more about taking Carnatic music to a broader platform versus, I think, once you've converted them, then you can probably rope them in, for a more traditional performance and things like that. But right now, even the awareness is missing, is my perspective. Of course, that's because I live outside of India, and I know there's a lot of potential for this art form to grow.
no,
Um,
I mean, even within India, I don't think there's a strong awareness of Carnatic music. Even within South India, if you go to other parts of Madras itself, it's not necessary that people have to know about Carnatic music. Like, and in fact, interestingly, like, somebody reached out to me from the north part of Madras wanting to learn Konakol. I mean, they had no idea about Carnatic music or Konakol. They saw one of these videos and they were interested in exploring it. And I took them on just to kind of give that, paint a picture of, okay, what is Carnatic music, what is Konakol, where does it fit in. They had no idea, but they wanted to kind of engage with it because they saw one of these videos. So I mean, that's kind of one of the, teaching obviously is not the goal, but it's bringing that awareness, like you're saying. And we can hopefully do it one person at a time. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think we need more people like you. We need more ambassadors like you and Mahesh and everybody else who's taking this to a whole different level, right? That is so important. So it's awesome. It's been amazing chatting with you, Akshay. I'm looking forward to all your videos and everything else that we talked about today. So any last words, any projects you want to highlight, any links you want to share with us, do feel free to send it over, talk to us about it, email us, however, we'll keep in touch. um, but
Sure.
thank you. Any last words for our audience today?
No, mainly just enjoy art, enjoy music, and if you ever want to get in touch about to learn more about Carnatic music or know more about it, I'm always open. You can Insta DM me or Facebook message me or whatever. Unfortunately, we
Or
don't have TikTok in India.
CarnaticON.com to learn more about Akshay.
Scan the QR code. Correct.
Awesome. All right. So for everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week with another artist. Bye, Akshay.
Bye bye.